going on, Bay Area? It's your boy, Chewy Gomez from 102 Jams. Listen to me every day, 3 to 7, playing your best hip-hop and throwbacks. Now back to my boys, Bonte and Shasky, right here on 95.7 The Game.
What up, Chewy?
One thing I despise is these.
Love you, Chewy.
God, Nicotina. Is this Hell's Kitchen? Is that what album this is? What is this? What album is this? I think this is called either Chuck Taylor's or Goody Goody Gumdrops or something like that.
Start Chuck Taylor's, I think. You're right.
Yeah.
Let's get him in the studio. Can we do that?
Oh, I would love Khan
Well,
in my Wu-Tang Clarks.
You may need the dumb button. His best song ever, I believe, is the song he did with Mac Dre.
Which one?
Ford, Chevys, whatever you got. Push it, man. Don't be scared to squat.
That's not. I think that's him and Lil Bruce.
Nah, it's Mac Dre.
Are you sure about that?
The best of the Dre's, yeah.
Chevy and Fords?
Chevy, Fords, whatever you got. Push it, man. Don't be scared to squat.
Oh, I'm thinking Ford, man.
Yeah,
I'm a Chevy man. I'm thinking of that one.
Yeah, I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the one with Mac Dre.
No, I know which one I'm talking about. No pickles, no onions, no playing.
Yeah. Check it out, no delaying.
That may be Nicotina's best verse, best song.
All right.
With Mac Dre.
So I was in high school. We found out from a little birdie, Nicotina is going to be performing at Amoeba, right? And
Amoeba Records.
Oh,
yeah.
God, Amoeba's so sick. So we get out there, and Lolo Swift comes out on stage. She got booed off stage till Nicotina got on there.
Amoeba Records on Haight Street.
Such a
classic.
classic.
The old McDonald's. By the way, they tore down that McDonald's.
I know, they're building condos.
Yeah, how about that? Right across the street from Golden Gate Park.
If I was going to tear that McDonald's down, I would make sure I go thousands of feet into the ground.
You got to go deep. You have to sanitize that entire area.
Napalm that sucker.
That McDonald's is the grimiest ever. Although I used to buy my filet of fishes over there back in the day. It was a risky proposition. But you know what? It is what it is.
Shout out what?
Lent.
Oh, Lent. I thought you said lamb. I was like, what? McDonald's sells lamb?
Is that
God, I hope not. Maybe in Greece.
What's Anthony Slater doing? Is he still in L.A.? Anthony Slater, our 95.7 Game Insider, on the Morning Roast. We love Slater. We try to do it every single week with him. He's on the beat here with the Golden State Warriors, and he was down there at Crypto.com Arena. Anthony, you still down there in L.A., or are you back in the Bay?
If they didn't have a game against the Rockets tonight, a thrilling one, I would probably still be down there. But I'm in the Sacramento airport right now, and I will be driving to the Bay Area in, I don't know, 4 hours, 5 hours.
So you flew last night from LAX to Sac, or this morning?
This morning. I landed about 10 minutes ago, and instead of sprinting to my car, I have made a pit stop to talk to you guys.
Wow. That's impressive.
Are you going to pick up Guru and take him to the studio today on the way down here? Bonte wants to know the route you're taking.
Well, what time does his segment start? Because I ain't leaving that early.
He starts at 12. He usually comes in about 11:45. You know, the brothers here at 95.7 Game, we come in about 10 minutes before the show. We don't need
He's probably listening. He better be on the road right now.
No, he might be on the road. By the way, Anthony, you got the Tesla, right? What model do you have?
Whoa.
What model do you have, Anthony? The Y?
I don't want to get too into this, but yeah, I got a couple of them. But my wife has another. My wife has the Y. I got the F.
See, so my girl just bought the Y, and I've been driving it the last 2 days. It'll change your life. It will change your life.
Yes.
Bonte and Elon, they're like this.
No, trust me. It's not I'm not spending money on it. My girl is, but
Bonte's going to get a side job at Twitter next.
I mean, that Model X, man, with the doors coming up open, I sat in that thing.
Yeah.
I've been, woo-wee. That's all right. Forget Teslas. Forget Sacramento. Elon Hill. No, don't do that to me. He better help me keep my blue check mark, by the way, on Twitter. The Warriors. I mean, God, Anthony, this is just who they are, right? They're not a good defensive team. They foul too much. They chuck up threes. This is basically the reality of the 2022-23 Warriors, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're like the Atlanta Hawks. I don't know, name your average NBA team. It's what they've been all season. I believe they haven't strayed more than 4 games under 500, and that was 3 and 7, and they have not gone more than 2 games over 500. They've sat there the entire time, and it continues to be very reminiscent of 2 seasons ago. Remember that? They just had it 500 that whole season. They made the play-in as the 8th seed on the last game of the regular season, lost in L.A., came home, lost to the Grizzlies, went on vacation. So they're in danger of 3 times in a 4-season period not making the playoffs, which is kind of crazy. But, you know, when that 4th season is a title, it doesn't feel as bad, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony, I'm looking at this thing right now, and I'm so frustrated. Some of the lineup combinations, they make no sense to me whatsoever. And, like, it would be one thing if this team says, hey, we're in championship now mode. We got to win now. We don't have time for youngsters. And they were 5 games over 500, 10 games over 500. They're under 500, and they're not developing these guys, and they're playing a boring, crummy brand of basketball. To me, I don't understand what they're trying to accomplish right now. And I know the curse is that we're trying the best chance to win games. Anthony Lamb is out there chucking threes, and he never gets yanked. Yet Kuminga, one bad defensive assignment, go sit on the bench. What are we trying to accomplish with some of these players on the court right now outside of the top 6?
Well, I mean, you said it. They are trying to win. That is what they are attempting to accomplish. They're not succeeding. That's the big problem. But, I don't know. He's searching for – how many times has he changed his starting lineup and changed his, on what –
That was a 20th different lineup last night, Slater.
Yeah, and he's, and oftentimes he's asked about it post-game and say, all right, we got to stick to this one. And it's after 3 games, he searches for something else because nothing's really working. And, yes, I think, Anthony Lamb had a bad game last night, and he really hasn't been that great for about a month now. I think Ty Jerome's been solid enough. Moses Moody has not impressed in his brief appearances. There are fringe ways that maybe this could have helped, and I agree with you that if maybe you rewind to the beginning of the season and it's going to go this way, well, man, play Wiseman more, play Kuminga more, because you're not going to win anyways, right? Mm-hmm. But in their search to win now, I think the bigger issue is the top guys. Jordan Poole's not having a good season. 33% from three, he's third in the league in total turnovers. He's he has not been without Steph Curry what he was last March and April without Steph Curry. Steph Curry hasn't really been healthy since December. The shoulder injury didn't play that great once he returned. Now he obviously has the leg injury. Draymond Green, okay, he's having an okay season, I guess. Klay Thompson, I think his inability to guard like he used to in his prime has made them have to go much smaller. He's basically playing the 4. Last night they start a very weird lineup, which includes Kuminga and Looney on the bench, because it didn't seem to trust Klay Thompson to guard LeBron, guard D'Angelo Russell. Right. He's out there guarding Jared Vanderbilt because he's basically a 3-4 now. That's kind of, I think messed with their lineups. Andrew Wiggins, I mean, we don't need to really get into his season, but it has completely gone off the rails since December. These are their big money pieces that just really haven't delivered all season.
No doubt about that. Anthony Slater here on the Morning Roast on 95.7 The Game. So 23 games left, 14 against teams over 500. And another game against the L.A. Lakers on the Sunday afternoon coming up. So let's start with this season alone. Steph and Wiggins' timeline. Do we have any idea when those two will be back? Because if they're not back, I say within the next 7 games, the season will probably be over with about 10 to play. So what's the status with Steph and Andrew Wiggins?
Yeah, I mean, I think Steph feels the urgency of the moment, and, they just kicked his timeline out a week. He's going to miss these next 3 games. I think he's going to try to get back as quick as possible. We're going to see how his leg responds to increased workload. Rick Celebrini is notoriously careful with this stuff, so but I know Steph is going to try to get back soon. I don't know if that'll be 4 games from now or 6 or 7 games from now, but it's coming relatively soon. Wiggins, it's very much a who knows around the team right now. This situation is being kept very private. There's people who you'd probably expect to know what's going on,
right?
Don't necessarily know what's going on. Mm-hmm. He is, from my understanding, you won't see him tonight, and they don't really know when you'll see him again.
Wow. And it's tough to talk about it because you're filing it under personal reasons, which we all want to respect. We've all got things going on at home that maybe you don't want disclosed publicly, which I understand. It just sucks because they really, 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 really need him. He's dramatically important. Anthony, here's what I don't understand. A team that knows how serious what they're trying to accomplish over these last 24 games, now 23, can have a week off and give that effort last night. It just doesn't add up to me. I don't get it.
Well, I don't know that, you could talk about urgency and hunger level and, I haven't seen it all year. People might not like me saying this, but I understand it. They won the title last year. That was kind of the capper of the dynasty, in my opinion, right? But just think about how that night in Boston felt organizationally. Right. It just felt like, what an accomplishment. I mean, in the history of NBA titles, certain ones are ranked differently, right? Like the Lakers bubble title probably isn't considered by many people as a really strong one. That was an unbelievable NBA title last year,
right?
Particularly for Steph Curry, but really for the organization and this run. And it came because of so much, pent up hunger and motivation from the seasons that preceded it, and the desire to put that stamp on all their careers. They did it. I haven't seen the desire to do it again. Well, and I'm not saying they don't want to, but they don't have what they have.
That hunger.
I agree with that. Hunger. But so let's go to the top, right? Because I keep thinking about Joe Lacob. Like, this guy's paying astronomical amounts of tax money right now, and I'm just Ty Jerome's playing 700 minutes, Anthony Lamb 900 minutes, Kuminga 900 minutes, right? He's got to be. They're under 500. Your superstars on the bench. Him and Claire set to make $95 million, just the two of them next year. You got the coach wanting an extension. Who knows what's going on with Bob Myers? What do you think is going on in Joe Lacob's head right now? Because that, to me, is the $1 million question.
Yeah, I mean, he was out there pregame yesterday, 2 hours before with Peter Guber. He's like chatting with Ron Adams. It's very rare to see him like that early. I'm talking like Moses Moody's warming up. Mm-hmm. And Joe Lacob's out there yesterday. But I think he's, I would presume not too pleased with how this has gone because, I mean, we all know he's very much the visionary of this 2-timeline plan that has gone haywire this season. And any, anybody that was trying to talk him off, particularly, maybe trading Wiseman and going all in now, well, then they better win now. And they're not winning now. So, what does that necessarily mean in the offseason? I don't know, but, Bob Myers and even Steve Kerr at times have said, and they even said it last year after they won, that, like, Joe is unwilling to pay this kind of bill for an average team, for a 7th seed, for a first round and out. They almost, if they're going to play this type of tax bill, have to go West Finals, NBA Finals, just from a financial standpoint, right? They need to get the playoff gate money all the way through May and June. And, if this doesn't happen, they try to organizationally, Joe's probably has the most difficult time with this, but they try to be very patient in their approach. So, there is still time to recover. You look at the West standings, there's time, but if this flames out the way it's, starting to feel like it might, then I think it's more likely bigger picture changes are made.
Well, you led me to my next question, Anthony. Anthony Slater here on the Morning Rush on 95.7 The Game. I'm looking at the next 10 games. Tonight, you better win against the Rockets. You better win this game. Then you play Minnesota, Portland, the Clippers, Pels, Lakers, OKC, Memphis, Milwaukee, Phoenix. I don't have to tell you. You know the schedule. You know it inside and out. You said sweeping changes after the season. So does that start with Draymond Green? Is Bob Myers coming back? Like, are we going to see a completely different roster that is centered around Stephen Curry next season? Because I think Poole being traded, Wiggins, it feels like everything could be on the table this offseason.
Yeah, look, I don't think it's going to be like 9 new players and, a completely different front office and coaching staff. I wouldn't say that, but I do think we all know, like, how a season ends often dictates, how people feel going into the offseason and what decisions they make. We all know Bob Myers is contemplating his future right now. Draymond Green, who has a player option, is contemplating his future. And then obviously Joe Lacob is contemplating the tax bill. Because next season has always been the red alert season of where this money is going. Because guess what? Jordan Poole is only making like $3.9 million this season. He's making whatever it is, 28 or something like that next season. That's what really skyrockets it. So, Joe Lacob is going to contemplate how much money he's willing to spend, and that'll be based on how good he thinks this core can be, how much they can contend. So if the last thing he sees is, a 9-10 play-in game that they lose or something like that, we kind of probably would figure what his opinion might be. So, that would, I think, lead to bigger changes than if they, rattle off some unlikely run here and go West Finals, NBA Finals.
This is going to sound dramatic, all right? And I just listen to what I'm saying here before everyone loses their mind. Steph Curry's amazing. We all agree. He's making a boat ton of money. He deserves. No. Hear me out. He's only played, throw 2019 out the window. He's only played, 2/3 or so of the games every single year. And we all know how great he is, and you got to keep him healthy for the playoffs and all that. But everything they built is around Steph Curry, the ball movement, the players that are surrounding him. And it makes a lot of sense. But moving forward, don't you think he needs to evolve simultaneously as well? As much as the roster has to evolve, can he be the go-to guy for the core of the regular season after this year? I know that sounds insane to say, but You get where I'm going with this?
Can he be your number one on the championship team? Basically, is what you're asking.
For the regular season, not for the playoffs. It's different. Like for the regular season.
35 next month. So to answer your question, like that shouldn't be in their plans. It's it's part of why they just gave Jordan Poole 4 years, $120 million.
Right.
Because he's supposed to help them survive the non-Steph games. And honestly, like he hasn't done. They don't have a horrible record without Steph Curry this season. Problem is Steph Curry has missed so many games.
Yes,
right.
Yes.
But like Poole, they were hoping Poole would have a better season than he is. Like I said, 33% from three, like crazy high turnover, and honestly has not evolved defensively like they were hoping he would. They're hoping he has somewhat of a Steph Curry trajectory defensively, where as he gets older, he just gets more physical defensively, more willing to play winning basketball. And they need, if they're going to pay him like they committed to paying him, they need him to just like turn into like fringe all-star, right? I mean, you're paying him like a fringe all-star.
They need him to be Robin, right? Like LeBron has AD, Giannis has his Middleton, Kyrie and Luka, KD and Booker.
What Clay
Steph Curry, and Clay's not that same version.
But Jordan doesn't give you the defense that is necessary to play alongside Steph Curry simultaneously for 80 games.
So you're looking for that Robin, basically.
Exactly.
Well, you know what? Andrew Wiggins is supposed to provide some of that.
Yeah, no doubt.
Good
and
counter.
You know what?
Good
and
counter.
Wiggins was, and then the right adductor strain and a non-COVID illness, and it turned the season sideways. People forget Wiggins was shooting 45% from three before he got hurt, Anthony. Yeah. And I know you know that.
Yeah. No, I mean, he was like looking at as good as he did in the playoffs. I mean, it's crazy how, I guess, what happens in the moment kind of like, shades how you're viewing players. But yeah, I mean, like just whatever it was, 8-9 months ago, he was like blocking up like Doncic and Tatum on the biggest stage of, basketball basically. And now he's like, I mean, he's just, that's the thing. Like, I think there's smaller items that have led here, including the roster construction, including some of the whiffs on the back end of the roster. But really, to me, it's the big money guys. It's the guy who signed 2 extensions right before the season. Poole and Wiggins just haven't had that great of years, and Klay Thompson making $40-something million is what he is at this stage of his career. And Steph Curry's like hasn't been healthy. Like,
no doubt.
That's your season.
No doubt. Anthony, we'll see you tonight at Chase Center. Have a safe drive in that Tesla X, man. That's a small car. Should have got the Y, man.
All right, fella. Hey, I can't take the Y. Wife won't let me take the Y.
All right. You got happy wife, happy life, right? Anthony, we'll see you later tonight. All right, Anthony. Good stuff as always.
All right, fellas.
Anthony Slater, 95.7 The Game Insider here on the Morning Roast. Loves Slater, man. He breaks it down, keeps it real.